Two Chairs No Waiting, episode number 707. Floyd's Mayberry Days 2022 reports. Two Chairs No Waiting is brought to you by the folks over at weaversdepartmentstore.com. Folks, Christmas time will be here before you know it. Head over to Weavers and check out some of the cool new items. They even have a new jacket for you, a Mayberry USA zip-up fleece jacket. There's in red or gray. Go check those out. You can also get a Andy Griffith Show squad car, a 1964 model. It's a small one. You can't fit in it, but it's bigger than a Matchbox car. It's really cool. Great display box that comes with it. And since it's almost 2023, get your wall calendar and your flipbook calendar over at weaversdepartmentstore.com. Two Chairs No Waiting is also brought to you by donations from listeners just like you. The executive producer of episode number 707 is Brian Rose. That's right, Brian Rose. If you don't know who Brian is, just to give you a little, or give him a little ad, I guess. He is the guy who runs the Mayberry Devotional. Now, if you haven't seen that, you need to head over to the twochairsnowaiting.com website. And when you're there, if you look at the top in the menus, Mayberry Devotional is right there. And Brian's been doing that. He's on episode number 98 right now, and he'll probably be doing 99 this week. And then next week will be Halloween week. He'll be doing 100, number 100. So head over there and check him out while he's there. So Brian, you're getting, you're sponsored the podcast and got promoted at the same time. So congratulations. I think that was a good buy, good sponsoring. So thank you. No, really, Brian does a great job with that Mayberry Devotional, and I definitely encourage you to check out that podcast. And you can head over to it. You can get to it by just going to twochairsnowaiting.com and then click on the Mayberry Devotional link there at the top of the page. You'll see it. All right, guys. Hey, we are going to be talking this week about Floyd's Mayberry Days report from 2022. Last week we heard from all of you guys, and I thought it would be fun. Well, whether it would be fun or not, I wanted to tell you what I see because it's different. You guys, that's why I wanted to hear your reports. And so last week, many of you called in or even sent videos in, had a couple of videos that were in the last couple of weeks, and we had several voicemails, had a few that wrote in as well. But we just had great reports from you guys about Mayberry Days. And I always like to hear that because if you don't know, I not only do this podcast, I also perform as Floyd the Barber at these Mayberry events. And I've been doing Mayberry Days as Floyd since 1994. So a long time. And so what I see is a little different than what you see during Mayberry Days. But I've got to tell you, Mayberry Days is super special. And I guess my experience being able to be Floyd, it's a different perspective than you have. And being there, it's always special. And the things I experience always leave a mark on me. No doubt. I mean, the wonderful people I get to meet that are fans just like me. You guys are fans just like me. Now, I may be dressed up as Floyd and run around and talking like this. Oh, did you see that? Oh, you look a little shaggy in the back there. Yeah. Well, I may be doing that kind of stuff, and you may be having a good time getting your hair cut by Floyd or talking to Barney or anything. But I get to meet a lot of wonderful folks like that, and I get to work with a lot of wonderful people that are the other tribute artists as well. And the cast members are there too. So I wanted to just give you a little bit of a report from Mayberry Days this year. I just think it was a lot of fun. So I have all kinds of photographs, tons and tons of pictures, and I will not be able to show all of them to you because there's just way too many. But it's definitely an experience that I don't know. I don't know how to get around or how to keep from just sharing and telling you all about because it is so fun to be a part of. But I'm going to skip around here. I got to Mayberry Days this year early, and I got to head over and go to the Andy Griffith Museum on Sunday night. So I got there Sunday of Mayberry Days, and that was because we're going to be filming the Mayberry Man, the series. We were filming a couple of days there in Mount Airy. And as such, I was able to go there, and I went and I got to look around at the Mayberry Motor Inn. They have the Aunt B room there. If you've never been to the Aunt B room at the Mayberry Motor Inn, most of the stuff in the room is actually things from Frances Bovier's actual estate sale. There's a dress that was hers. There's the beds in there were Frances's. And there's all kinds of stuff that was hers. Now, there's other things in the room as well, but it's definitely worth a trip over to the Mayberry Motor Inn there in Mount Airy, North Carolina. If you're in town, even if you're not staying there, you can go and look in the window and see all the cool things that they have on display right there in the Mayberry Motor Inn. So I got there early, and I was able to go and do things like, I was staying at the Motor Inn, so it was really easy for me. That weekend, my nieces and nephews, my nieces and their mother came to Mount Airy to just to see what Uncle Floyd does. Now, my nieces are 7 and 4, and basically they liked Barney, Rick Roberts, from the Mayberry Man movie. They actually completely attached themselves to him, and they also, of course, liked Gomer. Chris is in the chat room right now as well. They love them, and they were a big hit, actually, for the whole weekend. They had a great time, and they came over and got to see us as we were filming some things over at the Wally service station. Now, they were staying in the same room with Jan and I, a 7 and a 4-year-old, and their mom, and me and Jan all in the same room. I was very concerned that I was going to get no sleep during Mayberry Days. But yeah, I got to tell you, it turned out really great. They were wonderful, and had a great time with them there during Mayberry Days. So they got to visit with me at least a little bit during Mayberry Days, because I'm off doing a lot of Floyd stuff during it. But they got to spend a little bit of time with me, but a lot of time with Aunt Jan, Mrs. Weaver herself, and they went around and toured Mayberry and had a great time without me. So there was a huge gathering over at the Depot restaurant. If you guys have never been there, I definitely encourage you to head over and check it out at the Depot. It's a really cool place. They went there on Wednesday night. Well, I was actually filming at the Mayberry Courthouse at Wally's that night, so I wasn't there. And they completely fell in love with Jeff Gossett, who plays Rayfield in the Mayberry Man movie. And my understanding is he is now second on their list behind their father as the guy they like the best, which I'm not even sure if I'm still on the list, because I think Jeff was 2 maybe, and I do believe that Butch Ruffner, who plays Reggie in the movie, will also end up scoring like in the top 5, and it may be right behind Jeff. I'm not quite sure, but they had a great time there at the Depot. So if you've never been to the Depot and you're in Mount Airy, I definitely encourage you to go do that, because it's a cool place. It's not in Mount Airy; it's just outside of town. But you can search for it and find it. It's a really cool place. So Thursday morning is when things really get started there at Mayberry Days, at least for me. They have the Emmett golf tournament that starts off. And so I get to be on stage and introduce the amazing cast members that are there for the weekend, the special guests. It's not just cast members that are there for the weekend, and talk to all the golfers before the golf tournament starts and introduce each person. We had a great lineup this year that was there that morning. We had T. Graham Brown was there. We had Rodney Dillard, Dennis Rush, Keith Thibodeau, and we had Dick Adkins was there, who made Murder in Coweta County with Andy and Johnny Cash, the movie. Let's see, we had Dreama Denver, Ronnie Shell, Ruta Lee. I'm trying to look at the pictures here. Daniel Roebuck was here with us, a very first time guest, as so was Ruta Lee. And we had Michael Hoover was there with us as well as Elvis. Now, and as always, it's a great kickoff to the golf tournament. And you get to, I end up going around and visiting the golf tournament, the players on the golf course. As Floyd, I drive around. And during that time, Jan was back at the hotel with the girls. And I will tell you a story. So there was an event that was going on related to the Mayberry Man movie where they were having a luncheon at the Loaded Goat with Dixie Griffith. And Lauren, my sister-in-law, was able to go, and Jan took the girls, and Lauren was having a great time. Well, evidently, Lauren couldn't get a hold of Jan after it was over, and after about 45 minutes or so, she just started walking back to the hotel. So we feel kind of bad about that. But anyway, Jan, I don't know, somehow she found out and came and got her and stuff like that. But anyway, out on the golf tournament, this is what's so fun. I get to ride around and see the guys that are out there. And one of them was there is T. Graham Brown. I've mentioned that before. He is a country music star. He's got, I think, 3 #1 hits. I hope I'm not getting that wrong. And about 8 or 10 top 10 hits on top of that. And anyway, I got to go out and get my picture made with him out on the golf course. And as I was riding around the golf course, there's a Miracle Salve box out there. And it turns out that was a box that you could use to put your name in to win a door prize during the golf tournament dinner that evening. And it turns out T. Graham Brown actually saw me putting or standing there taking pictures of the Miracle Salve box. And because he saw that, he's like, what is this box and stuff? And so he ended up putting his name in, and he and about 2 other people in his foursome won door prizes because they saw me doing that, because they put their name in. So that's right. So we had a great evening following the golf tournament. They had a big dinner. We even had Mrs. Magruder's cousin was there in the golf tournament and got their picture made with us. It was a great evening of just fun. T. Graham Brown actually sang that evening and performed. And I showed it last week, but I'm going to show it again because this is huge to me. So T. Graham Brown, again, a big country music guy. And well, this is what happened. He called me up. I don't know if you can hear everything, but basically he called me up front and he asked me to sing the Mayberry Union High fight song with him.
It is fun. I don't have anything that's fun. It is fun.
So this is just us talking here.
You got to join me.
But here we go.
And singing Mayberry Union High fight.
Oh, yeah.
All of y'all.
Sing along if you know it, guys.
Mayberry Union High, victory is yours. Well, 9 will hit the line for points every time. The orange and blue will try. And when the victory's won, you'll be our favorite son. Proud waves your banner in the sky. Mayberry Union High.
Wow, I didn't even think about it at the time, but there I was getting to sing with T. Graham Brown. And that was so fun. And thankfully my wife Jan actually recorded the video. So that was, it was big for me. Anyway, it was a great night and I think everybody had a good time. He performed for us and we all enjoyed ourselves immensely. So then that was the close of the day, basically on, Thursday. So then Friday, the day gets started. We folks are visiting places like the barbershop downtown, the Floyd City Barbershop. They're visiting down there. Folks are heading over to the Andy Griffith Museum and checking it out and getting their pictures made at all the cool things inside the museum. Definitely something, if you're ever in Mount Airy, you want to do. And so I didn't get to do that. I have done it before, so it wasn't a big problem. But I have definitely spent a lot of time in the Andy Griffith Museum. I definitely encourage you, if you have an opportunity and you're in Mount Airy, to go and do that, because it is a really fun place to go. There was stuff for the kids to do. There's Ernest T's rock throwing contest that they had, where you threw a rock and tried to ring a bell. There's just so many things going on during Mayberry Days, and I swear this year it seemed like they had even more than normal that were going on. There's folks that got their hair cut by Floyd. I meet people on the street, walking down the street, and have a picture of Don Good, who's in our chat room, getting his hair trimmed up, and we have folks that were just posing and getting their pictures made in front of things. A great picture of Dixie Griffith. There's a huge mural of Andy. It's like faces of Andy at different ages that Mount Airy has commissioned and has done there. And Dixie had a great photo of herself taken in front of these wonderful images of her own father. And wow, I just think that is really, really cool that she was able to do that. And Rick Roberts was with her as Barney in one of the photos as well. Friends, Mayberry Days is just so special. I can't really express all the amazing and wonderful things that happened. We had the proclamation, and at the proclamation, they presented Daniel Roebuck with a key to the city. Daniel Roebuck, who played Cliff on Matlock, got a key to the city. Ronnie Shelb had a performance that day on Friday, and there was the trivia contest occurred on that day as well. So we had a youth trivia, followed by the trivia, the World Championship of Mayberry Trivia. It's at the Blackman Theater, and we'll be having those coming up pretty soon. Those particular trivia contests, those will be coming up in a couple of weeks. We'll be playing those for you. I'm going to try to get the youth trivia questions to do for you first, so that you'll feel good about yourself, and then we'll see if we can get the other trivia. So the trivia went on, and then as the day progressed, we had an Elvis concert, and the Mayberry tribute artists are also involved during the Elvis concert. There was also, followed by that, Troublesome Hollow did a show on Friday night, and as well. I will admit that Floyd bailed on Troublesome Hollow. Sorry, Tim White, my friend. I was tired, and I needed to get back and rest a little bit, because on Saturday morning always kicks off with the Mayberry Days Mayberry Days parade. And so we had a huge morning and day of just parade going. There are so many images and pictures of everything that was going on during the Mayberry Days parade that you can already see online. I kind of hate to show you too many. If you're watching the video, by the way, I'm showing pictures of all the things I've been talking about. We had Andalina, or Charlene, in the parade. We had a cow with boots on and being led. So I'm pretty sure that was Abel leading Baker and Charlie, because Abel is a small man, whereas Baker and Charlie was large. We had Opie running around. Of course, we had all of our guests for the weekend. Our special guests were there. We had Emmett's Fix-It Shop truck, Dennis Rush, the Pickle Queen. I can't describe the parade. If you've never been to the Mayberry Days parade, It is just, folks seem to really, really enjoy the Saturday morning at 9 o'clock, the Mayberry Days parade, because they get to see all the special guests. You get to see the tribute artist. You get to see just everybody that is going to be at Mayberry Days. And there's so many tribute artists. I'm not even sure how many Barneys there were this year. Or how many squad cars were actually in the parade. We had a fellow with an Andy mask on, and I know who it is. He did. So Mark did that. He's done that for the last several years. We had the Mayberry fishing, the boat there that's got Henry Bennett, and it sprung a leak. It was in the parade. Colonel Harvey. We had Asa. I mean, it's just we had Andy-ish was on there. Andy and Miss Peggy, Nurse Peggy was there. Of course, our mayor. We had Malcolm Tucker in the parade. If you get to go to Mayberry Days, don't miss the Mayberry Days parade. I think you'd really love it. Colonel Sanders was even there this year. That's right, from Kentucky Fried Chicken. Colonel Sanders was there. And our Grand Marshal was Margaret Carey. Margaret Carey and her husband were in the parade as the Grand Marshals. Along with Angelina or Charlene, whichever one you want to call her, we had the Baraka Valley, who plays a lot of the music in the Mayberry Man movie, and Rick Roberts was in the parade as Barney, who is Barney in Mayberry Man. So if you haven't seen Mayberry Man, I definitely encourage you to go see it. It's on Amazon Prime. You can go see it, or you can buy the DVD from Weaver's department store. So head over to Weaver's and check it out. But the parade was a lot of fun. How many parades have you ever been in where you see a cow walking around with shoes on? I mean, really, how many times? That just doesn't happen that often. So definitely take the opportunity, if you're at Mayberry Days, to go to the Mayberry Days parade. Now, following the parade, there's a bunch of stuff happening during the day at Mayberry Days. So you take your pick. Whenever you go to Mayberry Days, as I've mentioned before, you should go and get a Mayberry Confidential. That is the newspaper you'll find all over the place downtown, and it has the entire schedule in it. And that's the only way you'll know everything that's going on. A big special event this year was Ruta Lee was the special guest for Neil Brower's, Professor Brower's class. And that was a definite highlight of the weekend. Her presentation. We had the Andy Griffith Show Rerun Watchers Club annual meeting. You can go and get your picture made with the Andy Griffith statue if you have never done that. Definitely something you want to do if you're in Mount Airy. You can do that, of course, at Mayberry Days. But hey, we have a smaller event if you want to get your teeth wet, if that's the right way to do it. You can head over to the Mayberry Meetup that we'll be having in July next year and meet up. So the close out the day on Saturday of Mayberry Days, it kind of closes out the event to some degree. There's some stuff that still happens on Sunday morning, but we have Colonel Tim's Talent Time, and I get to see everything going on backstage. So we have a great time backstage trying to put on this show for you. Folks ask often how much we practiced. I got to tell you, this is like a Whose Line Is It Anyway, where we go out and just do stuff immediately as we go through the event. So I got this just in from Mrs. Weaver. My nieces and sister-in-laws got to ride in a Mayberry squad car in the parade. That's right. They did. So that's just in. So I didn't give enough report on that, I guess. But they had a good time during Colonel Tim's as well. Colonel Tim's, a big event, I think. And so I definitely hope you get to come and see that sometimes. But I get to see things from a different perspective a lot. And so if you're watching these pictures that I'm showing, I get to see Ronnie Shell, for instance, from the side wing of the theater, and watch the crowd a little bit as he performs and gets people laughing and things. Those are the kind of things from Floyd's perspective that I get to enjoy and see. during Colonel Tim's, as well as the people backstage waiting to perform, speaking with the actors, the guests, as we're getting ready to do things for you out there in the audience. So I definitely encourage you, again, if you can get tickets, go to Colonel Tim's, because you never know what you're going to get. And it's always an experience, because we're putting together that show as we go, and it turns out well almost every year. We've never had a bad year. This year we had lost Alma Venable, and as a tribute during the Colonel Tim's, her grandsons and some their friends and family sang a tribute to their grandmother, Alma Venable. And wow, I'll tell you what, that was they did a great job, and I'm so proud of them for doing that. I know Alma would be so happy. And folks, it's stuff like that Mayberry Days really draws and brings to us, right? We get to meet with people, visit with people, enjoy their company, and just have a wonderful time smiling and laughing and making memories that I tell you I treasure forever. Over the many years of doing Floyd since 1994, I've had so many wonderful memories, so many chances to meet fans and cast members and crew members and stuff, but I would have never had it not been for the Andy Griffith Show. And I tell you, it's just something I wouldn't give up for anything. So again, I encourage you, if you ever have an opportunity, go to Mayberry Days, go to Colonel Tim's, go to Rodney Dillard's concert, go and see all the amazing people that are there to entertain you. Because the Mayberry tribute artists that show up, they do it because they love the Andy Griffith Show, and that's why they come. All right, guys, that is my report. So some of the photos that I was showing, Jan took. So and whose idea was the pants skit? So I won't even tell that right now. I'll try to answer that later. Hopefully I'll have video of that and I'll show you, because there's a skit we did during Colonel Tim's that was a lot of fun. It was Otis's idea, by the way, but we had done it before several years ago. So, all right, guys, let's play a little bit of Mayberry Trivia. I want to do that. All right, so let's get a little background music for the Mayberry Trivia. There we go. So everybody get your pencils and paper out. Here we go. And then we'll hear from SpiritWalker. True or false? True or false? Aunt Bee flew an airplane by herself. True or false? Aunt Bee flew an airplane by herself. Aunt Bee flew an airplane by herself. True or false? The answer is true. And it was an actual airplane, not a paper airplane. So that's right. All right. Number 2. Who sang "I'm Sorry I Broke Your Heart, Mother"? It's so hard not to. Who sang "I'm Sorry I Broke Your Heart, Mother"? Who sang "I'm Sorry I Broke Your Heart, Mother"? I'm sorry I broke your heart, Mother. It was Otis. It was Otis. Okay. Number 3. What Ken of Foley punched Floyd?
Oh, he punched me hard. It was assault is what it was. So,
what Ken of Foley punched Floyd? Oh, this is a little harder. Do you remember this one? What Ken of Foley punched Floyd?
Oh, the answer. Oh, here's Otis. You know, he's a distant kin of Foley.
Yeah, so it was Otis that punched Floyd in the nose. All right, number 4. You ought to be able to get this one. Who attended McDonald's flying school? It's Mac, M-A-C, McDonald's. Who attended McDonald's flying school? You should be able to get this one. This one can't be that hard. Who attended McDonald's flying school? All right, I told you the first answer. Aunt B flew a plane by herself. So guess who attended flight school? Aunt B. Aunt B. All right. All right. If you missed that one, go back to remedial trivia taking. All right. Number 5. True or false? Aunt B was arrested for gambling. True or false? Aunt B was arrested for gambling? The answer is, that's true. That is true. Aunt B was arrested for gambling. All right, number 6. Which character wrote the song My Hometown? Which character or characters wrote the song My Hometown? Which character or characters wrote the song My Hometown? Okay, anybody got that one? The answer is Aunt B. Aunt B.
My hometown is the greatest place I know.
And Clara.
Where the neighbors I find are gentle and kind, and the living easy and slow. My hometown is the only place to be. Here the worries are small, and the kids grow tall, and strong, and healthy, and free. It's my hometown, Mayberry, Mayberry.
All right, so that's the answer, Aunt B and Clara. All right, number 7. How much money was Barney going to blow at the Hialeah racetrack? How much money was Barney going to blow at the Hialeah racetrack? Well, that one is hard. All right. How much money was Barney going to blow at the racetrack? $200. 200 big ones. 200. All right. Number 8, our final question. This is a color episode. Warren arrested the ladies' auxiliary for, was it theft, loitering, gambling, or rioting? Warren arrested the ladies' auxiliary for theft, loitering, gambling, or rioting. The answer is, again, remember that question a minute ago? Aunt Beagle was arrested for gambling. So gambling is the correct answer. Ding, 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 ding. All right, guys, how did you do? How did you do on that one? So there you go. So, all right. So hope you enjoyed it. That was 8 questions for fun. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and hear from returning to Mayberry with SpiritWalker.
On the Andy Griffith Show, forget all your cares and woes. Sit back,
so he's going to serenade you a little bit before he gets started. I hope you enjoy it.
Take up your fishing pole.
Welcome to Returning to Mayberry with special correspondent SpiritWalker from the Andy Griffith Show Esquire Club.
Thanks, Randy, and hello, Mayberry Spirit Watchers. Welcome to my undisclosed location somewhere deep within the bowels of the Andy Griffith Show Research Laboratories and Auto Shop, where me and the boys at the lab have been working on a new challenge. Recently, I received this video.
Hey, Spirit Walker. My name's Freddie. And Laverne and Shirley and the Andy Griffith Show are 2 of my favorite all-time shows. But can you tell me the connection between the 2?
Well, Freddie, challenge accepted. But I have to warn you, this is not really much of a challenge. So in order to make it more interesting, I'm going to do it in several different ways. Because first of all, Ron Howard played Richie Cunningham on Happy Days. And Happy Days spun off Laverne and Shirley, so Laverne and Shirley appeared on Happy Days, and Richie Cunningham appeared in 2 episodes of Laverne and Shirley. But wait, there's more. Rob Reiner, who appeared in Season 7 Goober's Contest as a printer's assistant, he also was married to Penny Marshall, who played Laverne DeFazio on Laverne and Shirley. But wait, there's more. Ron Howard appeared in American Graffiti with Cindy Williams, who played Shirley Feeney on Laverne and Shirley. But wait, there's more. Harry Dean Stanton played a store owner in the 15th episode of Season 8 and also played Johnny Velvet in the Star Peepers episode of Laverne and Shirley. Rance Howard, Ron and Clint Howard's father, was in 4 episodes of The Andy Griffith Show and played a doctor in the Who's Papa episode of Laverne and Shirley. Howard Hespen was billed as Don Sturdy in 2 episodes of The Andy Griffith Show and appeared as Dr. Grayson in the Oh Hear the Angels' Voices episode of Laverne and Shirley. Howard Morris, who appeared as Ernest T. Bass in 5 episodes of The Andy Griffith Show, 1 episode as a TV repairman, and 2 episodes as the voice on the radio, also directed the Frank's Fleeing episode of Laverne and Shirley. Connie Sawyer played Miss Blanchard in the 24th episode of Season 8, Helen's Past, and Mother Pike in the Councilman DeFazio episode of Laverne and Shirley. Hamilton Camp played the convict-turned-barbershop quartet member in the 3rd episode of Season 7, The Barbershop Quartet, and appeared as Rags in the Oh Come All You Bums episode of Laverne and Shirley. Mary Treen was Rose in the 1st episode of The Andy Griffith Show, and Clara Lindsay in 2 more episodes. She was also Nana Schatz in the Society Party episode of Laverne and Shirley. Also in that episode, appearing as a butler, was Robert Ball, who played Oldfield in the 18th episode of Season 7, A Visit to Barney Fife. Robert Corthwaite was the dog-loving Mr. Somerset in the 30th episode of Season 3, Dogs, 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 and Dr. Feuderin in the Guinea Pigs episode of Laverne and Shirley. Also in that episode, as an uncredited party guest, was Judith Woodbury, who appeared as Mrs. Ralph Haynes in the 19th episode of Season 3, Class Reunion. Harry Holcomb was Warden Hicks in the 18th episode of Season 6, The Legend of Barney Fife, and the judge in the Robot Lawsuit episode of Laverne and Shirley. Also in that episode, appearing as a salesman, was Bill McLean, who appeared as Mac in the 9th episode of Season 5, Opie's Fortune. Roger Till played a waiter in the French restaurant in the 25th episode of Season 2, Andy and Barney in the Big City, and was promoted to Maitre d' in the His Neighbor Book 2 episode of Laverne and Shirley. Arthur Tovey appeared in 2 uncredited roles on The Andy Griffith Show and 1 uncredited role on Laverne and Shirley. David Ketchum appeared as 2 different characters in 2 episodes of The Andy Griffith Show and wrote 5 episodes of Laverne and Shirley and served as the executive story consultant on 6 more. Pat McCormick wrote the Goobers Contest and the Mind Over Matter episodes of The Andy Griffith Show and appeared as Henry Wanda in the Lonely at the Middle episode of Laverne and Shirley, as well as serving as a consultant on 7 more episodes. Jay Sandrich served as the assistant to the producer in 63 episodes of The Andy Griffith Show and associate producer in 32 more episodes. He was also the director of the Falter at the Altar episode of Laverne and Shirley. Alan Rafkin directed 27 episodes of The Andy Griffith Show and 22 episodes of Laverne and Shirley. Johnny Mercer wrote the song One for My Baby and One More for the Road, which Barney sang part of in the 3rd episode of Season 2, Andy and the Woman Speeder. He also wrote Hooray for Hollywood, which was performed in 2 episodes of Laverne and Shirley. Gus Kahn wrote the song Toot Toot Tootsie Goodbye that Aunt Bee sang in the 24th episode of Season 3, Aunt Bee's Medicine Man. He also wrote Goofus, which was sung on the Oh Hear the Angels' Voices episode of Laverne and Shirley. So there you have it, 22 connections between Laverne and Shirley and The Andy Griffith Show. And if you have an interesting link you'd like me to know about or a link challenge you'd like me to take on, just contact me at tagsrl55@gmail.com, or you can contact me on my Facebook page, The Andy Griffith Show Esquire Club. I'd love to hear from you. Until next time, thanks for being here. I appreciate it. And keep spreading that Mayberry spirit. I thank you.
It's so fine.
Wow. Challenge accepted. Oh my goodness. Guys, great job there, SpiritWalker. That was pretty amazing. So definitely, wow. Folks in the chat room are going, my brain is full. I can't handle it anymore. It's like when he starts getting into this song that Barney sang some of in this episode, he also wrote this one to Ray for Hollywood. Oh my goodness. I can kind of see how you were able to put together the actors who appeared in different things to some degree. Uncredited roles is pretty hard, but wow. And then you start getting into somebody wrote a part of a song that Barney sang, and great job. I'm impressed. Wow. Great job. Okay. That was interesting. I'm going to have to watch that again because I personally cannot remember everything he said. That's why I record these episodes so that I can just go back and listen later. I don't have to remember. So great job. Thank you, SpiritWalker. Folks, if you have something you want him to try to look up, throw him one out there and see if he can. That was pretty fun. I enjoyed that. So thank you, SpiritWalker. And thank you guys for being here with me. I should have mentioned you can head over to mayberrydays.com and you can get information about Mayberry Days in years coming. So you can go ahead and check that out. No matter what year you might be listening to this podcast, head over to mayberrydays.com and you'll get information about the current years or next year's Mayberry Days. They have a great set of photos in there. If you go to the About section, they have history and photos. And you can go in there and you can see photos from all kinds of different years of Mayberry Days. So definitely go and check them out. There's lots of fun things in there and great memories to review. Even if you weren't there, I think you'll enjoy looking at some of these photos because there's some amazing photos of our friends from the Andy Griffith Show and fans and folks that just love the show. So folks, thanks again for being here with me here on the podcast. It's always a lot of fun. I'd like to hear from you. You can give me a call at 888-684-8415, or you can email me at floyd@imayberry.com. Next week will be a pre-recorded episode because I'll be going on the Mayberry Cruise 2022, and next week is our Halloween episode about the spooky ghost stories. So hopefully you guys will enjoy it. You can join us for the premiere on Monday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time at live.2chairsnowaiting, or you can check it out on Tuesday when it comes out. So folks, have a great Mayberry week, and we'll see you next time right here on Two Chairs.